Number 8 is a addition-subtraction problem with radicals. So it's negative 2 on the square root of 24 minus 4 on the square root of 96. Now remember, these radicals act a lot like variables. What I mean by that is if they have the same thing under the radical, they're like terms and we can combine them. But we don't know if these are the same thing because they're not simplified. So we have to do that first. Breaking 24 down. We see that a pair of 2's is going to pop out, but a 2 and a 3 got left behind. That's going to be a 6 again. Remember, they multiply back together to be that 6 when you put them back. So we have negative 4 on the square root of 6. Why negative 4? Because this 2 pops out and slams into it being a negative 4. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. 96 is a little bit more work. But now we're back in familiar territory with the 24. We just did 24. Pair of 2's is coming out. Pair of 2's is coming out. And wouldn't you know, we left a 2 and a 3 behind again. So what we get is negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 times 2 again is negative 16. And we left a 6 behind. So they were like terms after all. We didn't know that, but they are. They're like terms because we have the same thing under the radical. They're both 6's. That means these are like terms. And a lot of people still get confused on how we combine those. Think about it. Like I said, they're just like variables. If we have negative 4x minus 16x, a lot of you would tell me, oh, that's easy. That's negative 20x. We add and subtract radicals the same way by just working with the numbers out front. Negative 20, because it was negative 4 and minus 16 on the square root of 6. Number 9 is a very similar problem, but it's even easier. See, number 9 already has like terms, 2 and a 2. What's tricky here is when we combine the numbers out front, you have to be careful to notice that's a negative 1. So negative 2 minus 1 should give us negative 3 on the square root of 2. Number 10 is when we get into multiplication. To do multiplication with radicals, we do outside times outside and inside times inside. And when the number on the outside or inside is not available, we replace it with a 1. So now every one of our terms has an outside number and an inside number. So we can begin our distribution. Outside times outside is negative 4. Inside times inside is square root of 15. Outside times outside is positive 1. Inside times inside is square root of 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. And this is where a lot of people say, I'm done with the problem. I did my multiplication. But 9 can break down into 3 and 3, which pops out. So really, our final answer should be negative 4 square root of 15 plus 3. If you have the answers in front of you, you'll be able to see that is one of them. I had to cover them up. I needed some space. So you can see I covered them up with this white box. Number 11 is only a one-stage multiplication, but it's just got more stuff flying around, so you have to be careful. Outside times outside is negative 8. Inside times inside is 16n cubed. Because what it is n times n, which is n squared, times n again. Well, that's just n cubed, guys. But now we have to break this down. You can either break 16 down the long way by breaking down 2 and 8, 2 and 4, and then 2 and 2. Or you can realize that 16 is a perfect square because it breaks into 4 and 4 and it pops out. N cubed is n times n, which comes out as a single n. The 4's pop out to give us negative 32 n, and the only thing that stayed behind was a single letter n. Okay? Number 12 is a polynomial operation problem, and you have to pay attention to what's in the middle. Please do not get going too quickly and just say, oh, everything's multiplication. This is a subtraction problem. You can either just combine like terms right now, remembering that the subtraction belongs to everything, or you can rewrite this as an addition problem. What I mean by that is you take this subtraction sign and you bring it to the other two pieces and change it to an addition problem. So now we have plus negative 7n and negative 6, and it's time to combine like terms. Negative 3n plus a negative 7n is negative 10n. 4 plus negative 6 is negative 2. A lot of people are much better with addition than they are with subtraction, so you can just change it into an addition problem. Okay? Number 13, notice these are all mixed in together. They're like that to trick you, okay? Be careful, make sure you pay attention to what operation you're doing. Number 13 is a multiplication problem. Okay? When we do our first multiplication, we do 5 times 8, which is 40. N squared times n squared is n to the 4th power. Then we get minus 35 n to the 3rd power and minus 10 n squared, giving us the answer D.